Hey y'all, so before I get this video started, let me give a quick shout out. These were the first 3 comments in my last video. If you want to be featured in my next video, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell and come show me some love when I drop a new video. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, it's time for me to do my first paycheck to paycheck budget for the month of April. If you are new to my channel, I am a PRN psych nurse. I work at a very low paying facility and I typically work about 25 hours a week. So the pay that you're going to see here is from working 4 shifts. And my April budget goes from April 8th to May 5th. I'm not one of those people that like to go from the first of the month to the last day of the month. I think it's very awkward to do. I like to start my paycheck or start my budget with a paycheck. So my first paycheck of April is April 8th. I get paid every 2 weeks. And my first paycheck of May is May 6th, which is why my budget goes to May 5th. So stay tuned because either next week or the following week, it's probably going to be actually in my Mukbang Monday, this coming Monday. I'm going to do a story time on how my income and everything is about to be affected drastically, my job, everything. So stay tuned for that. So the budget that we are going to be doing is going to be based off of this. This is my paycheck to paycheck overview that I do at the beginning of the month, where I like to see kind of projected what's going to happen by the end of the month as far as each paycheck, what bills come out and stuff like that. If you missed me putting this together, I'll link that up in the eye in the sky. That was in my full-blown budget with me video. So the only things I have coming out of this paycheck is my car insurance and just the budgeted expenses, which I'm gonna write that over here on a little piece of paper so I actually don't have to come back to it. All right, so I did get paid at least $1166.38. I actually got paid $1172.32, and that's because one of the days within this pay period I had to stay an extra 15 minutes because you know people don't like to come to work on time. Yes. So just got a couple extra dollars. So I do my own method. It's called an income allocation method. I will show you guys how I determine what I'm putting into savings, which I should be putting something into savings as of this paycheck. And then when I get paid from my YouTube paycheck and then also my second paycheck from my nursing job, I will still be doing the exact method. This is the method I used to get out of, I was about to say get out of jail. What? Get out of debt really quickly while saving money at the same time. Okay, so long intro, I know, I'm sorry. So the only fixed expense we have again is car insurance. That is due on the, is it the 21st or the 19th? Yes, the 21st. So the last day of this paycheck period thing, and then that's gonna be $129.66. And then I always like to do an unbudgeted just in case I forgot some kind of yearly expense or I end up getting a new monthly expense. And my agency is calling me right now, so I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Well, that was an easier conversation than I thought. Okay, so for variable expenses, the only thing I have is my budgeted expenses, gas, groceries, all that stuff. There's no due date, of course, because it goes the whole 13 days, or is it 14, 13, whatever it is. Excuse me, and the amount is $497.50. And then I do have an unbudgeted variable. I really don't use this as much as I used to. What I used to do is I used to separate my supplements from the rest of the expenses, or like if I knew I was going on a trip and I had a travel budget, I would literally have that travel budget for a specific paycheck because I knew I was going out of town for that specific paycheck. So right now that probably won't be used very often, but we still got to put it there. And I forgot to put the total. Ooh, I'm tripping. What am I doing, guys? All right, so let me go back. And the remaining I have of this paycheck after the fixed expense $1172.32 minus $129.60. Whoop. $1172.32 minus $129.66. I have $1,042.66, and then we're going to subtract the $497.50. That's going to give me $545.16. So, as far as savings go, I am going to come here and we're going to go to my allocations page. So my threshold, which is my total fixed expense amount, is $654.42. My checking percentage is 60, and then savings is the remaining 40. So paycheck 1 is $1172. What did I say? 32. So the way that I allocate my money, I don't start allocating money to my savings or extra debt payments. If I was still in debt, I have been 100% debt free as of May 2018. So I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary, yes. But anyway, so I don't start allocating money for savings until after I've earned enough money to cover my fixed expenses. Because for me, I feel like paying my bills is extremely important. I can scrounge up money from anywhere as far as eating some food. I can go to my grandma's house, my mama can cook, whoever. But making sure that I pay my bills so that my credit stays good is the most important thing for me. You don't have to be that way. This is for me. So the question that I ask myself is, with my first paycheck, have I earned enough money to cover my fixed expenses? And I have. So that means that I will be allocating with my first paycheck. So what I have to do is I have to take the amount of my check, and I'm going to subtract the amount that I have to keep in my checking account for my fixed expenses. Because remember, I'm not allocating until after I earned enough to pay for these expenses. I still pay my expenses as they come throughout the month regularly, but I just don't start allocating for other stuff until then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the amount of my fixed expenses out of my paycheck, and that's going to give me $517.90. This remaining amount is what I'm going to split off 60% to stay in my checking for my variable expenses. 60% variable expenses, the groceries, the gas, all of that. And then the remaining 40% is going to go to savings. So we have 60% for checking, but this time is for variable expenses. And then we have 40% for savings. So let's go ahead and calculate that. So that's going to give me $310.74 for my checking. And then if I subtract that from the $517, so this is my net income, I'm going to have $207.16 for savings. So I will go ahead and write my $207.16 for savings in here, and as soon as this video is over, I'm going to go ahead and transfer that money out. But I'm not going to write the $310.74 in this box, because if I was to add these two numbers together, this one and this one, I don't get the amount of my check. When you add one across, as far as what you keep in checking, what you send to savings, what you send as extra debt payments, this should equal the amount of your check. So what I have to do is I have to add what I kept in my checking for variable expenses with what I kept in my checking for my fixed expenses, 42, and that's going to give me $965.16 to keep in my checking. And if I were to add that going across, I get the amount of my check. So how I'm going to split this savings off, and then we're going to set up our reconciliation, our checking account reconciliation at the bottom. So what I typically like to do, and let me see if I put this, yeah, so I did what I normally do. I sent 50% to my miscellaneous / investment sinking fund, which I just took like $800 out of there this morning. And I'll tell you guys about that later. And then I'm going to put 25% into my car sinking fund and 25% into my travel sinking fund, because this is what I always do anyway, but I did take money out of my travel sinking fund last month to pay for the flights for the September Mexico trip for my cousin's bachelorette party. So yeah, I took out money for me and my sister, but my sister's going to end up paying me back. Okay, so 50% of the 207.16, and actually, I don't even have to use the paper. Let's just go ahead and write it in. Miscellaneous / investment sinking fund. We have the car sinking fund, and then we have the travel. And the car sinking fund is literally for any repairs, any oil changes, tires, any of that. So the date that I am going to send it is going to be today, which is the 8th. So let's multiply that in half. That's going to give me $103.58 to send to the miscellaneous / investment sinking fund. And then what's remaining, we're going to divide that in half. So $51.79 for the car and $51.79. Uh-oh, why did I write 8? Looking at the 8 right there. 79 for travel. And then let me do an unbudgeted, because there have been a few times where I ended up sending off extra money, but it doesn't happen very often because I just stick to the way that I do my budget at the beginning of the budget. Okay, so total, and I am going to add this up just to make sure my numbers are right. 207.16. And my remaining is still positive, so I'm still going to use my green pen. Anything you see in this video, whether it is pens, my planner, all of that stuff, is linked down in the description box. So what I have remaining is $338. And it looks like I need some more pens pretty soon. Okay, so let's do the reconciliation down here. This is reconciling my checking account. So I do basically pay for all of my variable expenses plus my health insurance and dental insurance on my credit card. It's the Southwest Rewards card, and then I pay the card off at the end of every paycheck budget. So I pay my card off twice a month basically. So what I like to do is I like to reconcile my checking account, because anytime anything happens where there's a discrepancy, you know, whether it's a scammer is taking micro amounts out of your account, whatever the case may be, I'm able to track it and catch it very early because I reconcile my accounts all the time. So, and then it's just good to know that, hey, what I'm supposed to have in here is literally what I have in here. So I'm going to take my checking account balance. I always reset my account to $4,000 at the end of every single budget. So I have the $4,000 in there. I added my income, which gives me $51.7232. If I subtract my fixed expense of $129.66, my variable expense amount of $497.50, and then if I also subtract what I sent off to savings, which is $207.16, what I should have left over is $53.38. I mean, not $53.38, what? $43.38. Okay, so $4,000 plus the $1172.32 minus $129.66 minus $497.50 and minus $207.16 gives me $43.38. And I knew that that's what I should have, because if I take my beginning balance and I add or subtract whatever's remaining, it should give me whatever my projected ending balance will be. So of course, at the end of this budget, I will meet back up with you guys to do my actuals and then also do the next paycheck to paycheck budget. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them down below. If you haven't checked out this month's mock budget yet, make sure you do that. I'll link that up in the eye in the sky as well. Please thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't already, but other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.